Good morning, everyone. We have to make a technical adjustment. Just a moment. Good morning. So I want to say happy holidays, whatever it is you celebrate. I want to say happy holidays to you. And I hope that you just have a loving, warm, enjoyable holiday season. We are talking about the sacred today and uplifting what is sacred in our lives. And so I'm of the opinion that things, as the song says, are not as sacred as they used to be. Let me speak for me, I had, when I was raised, the pomp and circumstance of what the particular religion that I was raised in told me was sacred. And I certainly embraced some of those things. But as I grew and as I became more aware and became my own person, what was sacred to me changed. And for me, taking a long walk in the park became sacred. Being at the beach became sacred. For each of us, what's sacred is different, but what's sacred is what connects us to the divine. That is what is sacred. What's sacred is what we revere, what we hold in high esteem, what we approach with reverence and value, what we hold in high regard. That's what becomes sacred and important to us. It's spiritual, or we approach it from a spiritual perspective because it connects us with spirit. It connects us with God. So for me, in our Science of Mind teaching, what's sacred to me is that God is all knowing, God is everywhere evenly present, and God is all powerful. And it is within each of us. Living from that awareness every day is sacred to me. And it's something that I have strived for so long, still working on it. But it's my practice, excuse me, that I attempt to keep in the forefront of my experience every day. Why? Because that empowers me, that grounds me in the truth, and that reminds me that any and everything good is possible. And so that's an aspect of our teaching that I hold sacred. And what I do is I do things that remind me of this. I have things in my home that remind me of it. The music that I listen to reminds me of it. The books that I read, the authors that I read and that I allow to inform me remind me of this truth because I've lifted it up and it's something that I hold as sacred. Now, lots of times in our lives, what's sacred comes in the form of ritual. And one of the things that I love is that Reverend Michelle is always creating some kind of ritual for us. So, ritual is just simply a ceremony, a practice that has the purpose of anchoring us in spirit, in the truths, in the principle or principles that we live by. And ritual on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, helps anchor us and connect us with the divine. It invokes an energy. It could be love, it could be joy, it could be peace, could be all of those things. But ritual creates a result for us. And so You can light a candle, you can sing a song, you can do a chant, you can use bell chimes, a singing bowl, you can dance, you can recite poetry or ideas, principles, things you believe in, use symbols. But all of these things help create an experience for us that anchors us in whatever it is that we are holding sacred, whatever it is that we are trying to uplift. And rituals also create a connection between the people that share them. It creates a bond. Rituals empower us, they soothe us, they heal us. For me, a science of mind ritual that I practice is spiritual mind treatment. And you may say to yourself, well, that's just prayer, that's not a ritual. But as a practitioner, the way that I've learned to do it is first, I go into meditation. And I go into meditation for so many reasons. I go into meditation to get centered in spirit, to get centered within my own spirit, to let go of all the distractions and all the things that might be in the way of me really being within the presence. Okay. And then I will do whatever I feel to do in that time. I may light a candle. I may have some music of some kind, but then I go into prayer because now I've put myself in that space using my form of ritual. And one of the rituals that I love that Reverend Michelle does for us is the one that's done around Easter, and that's the Phoenix experience. That is a really, really powerful ritual that we do in our center, in our teaching. Now, probably one of the most common rituals that is done across all cultures is the funeral ritual. I don't know of a culture that doesn't have some kind of funeral ritual. It's probably the most common worldwide ritual that is practiced. And what the funeral ritual does is it honors the deceased. It honors their accomplishments, the contributions that they made to the world, to the people around them, the life lessons that they had. It honors their character. A funeral ritual also allows us to mourn. It creates closure, it creates fellowship and support. And so these things become really, really important to us. This is the holiday season. And so we have a number of holiday rituals that people practice depending upon your background. So right now we're going into Christmas. Hanukkah has just passed. Kwanzaa is coming. And I mean, no disrespect if I've left out your particular spiritual practice. I'm just naming a few to give an example. But this right now is a time of tradition. It's a time of ritual. It's a time of honoring things that are sacred to us. And it's different for everyone. So during this time, people have church services. We have family dinners. Some people get together and bake cookies. People decorate. That's a ritual. One thing that my family used to do that I'm trying to resurrect is reading the night before Christmas. That was something that I loved as a kid. And all of you who have heard me before, um, I always share about my family, and you know, it's so funny because the truth is I'm not so much into Christmas in the traditional sense and in the religious sense, because spiritually I've just evolved past that. Not that I have anything against it or disrespect it, but when my heart tugs at me and starts to ask questions or something doesn't resonate for me, then I go into that, and I search until I find what does resonate for me and what does work for me. And you've heard me talk about my family, and even though I'm not into the traditional Christmas, what I remember about Christmas with my family has been so powerful and such an important time, because my family, my mom and dad, with very little, created magical Christmases, things that experiences that really, what's the word I want? Expanded on the love. And we did things that were so much fun. You've heard me say that my father used to decorate, and there was this gold garland that he had that I liked, and he would string it from one corner to the other and then across the other side, and it met in the middle, and he would hang the mistletoe from there. And you've heard me say, I always love mistletoe. Don't know why, but I always loved mistletoe. There was nobody around to kiss but my family, but I love the mistletoe. And my mom would do all kinds of baking, and she made eggnog from scratch. And when it snowed at Christmas, my mom made snow ice cream. Oh my God, it was amazing, amazing. And so each of us have our own rituals. But what I want to invite everyone to do is to examine your sacred. What's important to you? What do you value? What do you want to uplift and hold up in your life as sacred? And it's a very personal thing. It's going to be different for each one of us. So, religion as a spiritual practice has been sacred for many of us. In many cultures, and it used to be in our culture, but not as much anymore, which saddens me, because elders were sacred. Elders were respected and held as sacred. They were cared for and included in family life. They were sought after for their experience and their wisdom, and they were celebrated for their accomplishments. I remember when I was a kid, there was something I was trying to do, and I just hadn't been able to do it. And I was very troubled by it. And I said, I know, I'll go ask my grandfather. My grandfather lived to be 107, and I'm going to say he was in his 90s at the time. And I called him up and I said, Grandpa, can I come talk to you? And he told me, come on. And I went and I said to him, Grandpa, there's something I've been trying to do, and I can't do it. And he says, I don't know, Tony, what to tell you. He said, I'm much older than you, and there are things I've been trying to do that I still haven't gotten done. I was so disappointed because I just knew he would have the answer. Because he was so much older, but I was taught that our elders are sacred. In some cultures, children are sacred because they are our future. They're honored, they're protected, they're supported, they're carefully taught so they can grow into human beings that make a contribution to society and make the world a better place. And so, what I'm talking about today, what I'm offering to you to think about and inviting you to look at, is uplifting things that really you may kind of feel are really important and sacred to you. And I'm recommending that you could uplift them from the mundane to the sacred. As I said, it's personal, it's different for each person. It's an inside job, like everything. First and foremost, it's an inside job. But look at things that you honor, things that you feel you have a commitment for, things that you want to take time with, to focus on and be consistent with, and be consistent with, not let it go, not get out of the habit or the practice because the world or your environment is trending in a different direction. How do you want to experience what matters to you? What's important to you? What do you want to be sure continues in this world because you find such value in it? And what do you want to offer your children, your family members, your nieces, your nephews? What do you want to offer your community that you find value in and you know it's important? That's what we uplift as sacred, or into the sacred, in our everyday life. And I just feel like we've so gotten away from some of these things, and there's a real loss in that. um there are all different kinds of ways that you can elevate things, but the attention, the focus, the commitment, is probably the most important. You can be sure that these things are represented in your conversation and what you share with other people. You can represent them in your home, create an activity around it, or if you don't want to create an activity, participate in an activity, or just invite others to join you in honoring what matters if they're of like mind with you, and engage in spiritual practices around it. So you can either join something that already exists or create your own ritual. It can be in prayer, with prayer. You can create an altar. You can pick a theme. You can use symbols. You can use music, colors. Do a ritual that's in remembrance of something or someone. Um, a ritual that my dad let me know was really important to him was honoring the veterans and people that sacrificed and gave their lives, or people that gave up much of their lives to go and be sure that we were safe, that they fought for the things that we valued. And I was really surprised one day when my dad said to me, "You didn't wish me happy Veterans Day." It really startled me, and it taught me a powerful lesson. It taught me a powerful lesson. So I just want to give an example to you, because I always think it's helpful and important to give an example when we talk about these things and when I recommend something. And so I do a creativity ritual. And so what I do is I meditate first, to get myself centered and to take myself out of the everyday mundane, experiences that I may be caught in. I try and get myself into a certain state. And so, you know me, I use music to do that. So I play Pure Imagination. I play the song Yes I Can and Ty's Spirit Rising, because I love, love, love that song, and what it says. And it shifts me. Music is a powerful, powerful tool to shift the state of consciousness that we're in, to put us in a particular state of consciousness. And I really use it because it shifts me, it opens my heart, it reminds me of the truth, and also it puts me in a state of belief, which is really important and powerful when I want to create. I light candles, sometimes I burn incense. um whatever it is that comes to me. And then I call forth what it is I want to create. I call forth what it is I want to experience. And then I seal it with spiritual mind treatment. Okay. And so, one of the things that I've been working on that I've struggled with my whole life is learning how to play the piano. And I'm finally using ritual, honoring it as sacred and important to me. I am finally improving. I'm still a beginner, but I can actually really play some songs now and play some songs that I can sing along to, which is like just so amazing. But I was able to shift it by honoring it. I get busy with so much other stuff, and I wasn't sitting down and practicing. And when I decided to honor it and to hold it as sacred and to treat it as important to me as it really is, then things began to shift. And so I just offer that to you as an example. And lastly, I can't leave out, once we do that, you still have to do the work. You still have to move your feet. I started with 20 minutes on the piano. That's what I started with. I committed to that, So you still, as we say in this teaching, treat, you pray, and you move your feet. So whatever traditions or rituals that you practice, whatever you believe in, whatever is meaningful for you and important to you, I invite you to hold them as sacred, to create new ones, to uplift what is important to you, what's meaningful to you, to value it. Because when we honor and uplift what's sacred to us, it empowers us and it changes our life. It also bonds us and connects us with people who practice holding up the sacred and doing rituals and ceremonies with us. So let's take this into spiritual mind treatment. So, what I know is that there is a divine power and presence, that it is everywhere, evenly present. And when I turn my attention to that power and presence, miraculous things happen. I know that this power and presence is expressing in and through and as all of life. It has created, it sustains and maintains all of life. It beats my heart and breathes my breath. I do not do it. I am so grateful, though, that it happens. I know that this power and presence is available to me to express so that I can live the life that I choose to live. It has provided me with the ability to create the life that I choose to live. And so I honor this. I uplift this. I know this is the truth for me, and I participate as co-creator to the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge. And I know as I do that, then I'm divinely inspired. I'm divinely informed. I am divinely empowered and provided with what I need to create the experiences that I choose to have, to live the life that I choose to live. And so what I know is that when I follow my heart and I honor the divine, I honor what is sacred to me, life unfolds. It unfolds beautifully. It unfolds sometimes as what I call miraculously, but the power and presence that I call God is expressing always. And so as I choose to focus on it, it provides me with everything that I require. And I am so grateful for the beauty, for the love, for the light that I experience, for the opportunities, for the empowerment that I experience. I am grateful that my deep questions are answered. I am grateful that life unfolds and gets better all the time, that this experience of life expands for me, and it's just inspiring. It's just amazing. The fact that I am even alive, breathing, speaking, living is so amazing. It is definitely sacred to me. And so I simply release my word into the law, knowing that it is the truth, that it is the ongoing, ever unfolding expression of God that I get to participate in. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. And I know that it continues, never ending. Please close with me. And so it is.